Welcome to your full moon reading. This is Kristen with Sacred Soul Ascension, and this is a full moon on January 28th. It is about noon Eastern Standard Time. This full moon is at 7 degrees of Leo, opposite the sun, in Aquarius at about 8 degrees. And we have the sun in a conjunction with Jupiter. It was conjunct Saturn earlier this week, and tomorrow that Sun-Jupiter conjunction is going to be exact. Tomorrow, wherever your tomorrow is. So, yes, I know we have many viewers from all over the world, so it's getting close to tomorrow already for many people. So, yes, this is all square. The sun and the moon in opposition, as they are on full moons, square Mars. Mars is squaring both the sun and the moon and Jupiter. That Mars and Taurus at about that 7th degree of Taurus. So there is this tension aspect, this pressurizing us to take action, to take inspired action. You may be feeling the pressure of that right angle to really dig in and connect with the lion's heart of compassion and the strength that it takes to come into that harmonious field of compassion that is unconditional and non-judgmental. On this sun, in Aquarius, when we look at these big picture situations happening globally, Aquarius is a very global, humanitarian, big picture thinking energy. And it's very connected to technology and to invention. So we're asked to look at these big macro issues affecting the planet with that very personal relationship, heart to heart, like inner child to inner child, loving connection, to build relationship and constructively build bridges to solve these very big macro issues that have been here for a long time. They're just all out on the surface. So we're reminded with the Oracle that you're part of a team of souls. Your star family is with you. You are not alone, even though you are alone, perhaps, in feeling sometimes on the space that you're holding or the content that you are developing as you personally navigate your perspective, your distillation process of all the information that has, formulated who you are to this state of being, and that process of acquiring knowledge, and also all the processing of release of the programming and conditioning. So it's like this acquisition and release that is the evolution of a soul on this earthly plane. And sometimes that can feel very, you can feel very alone, in the physical. Yet we are never alone in the spiritual. And this card, the Star Family, is just here to remind us that you are part of a team of souls that are so with you, supporting you, guiding you. And each person, each being has this team, okay? This is not this is a birthright to call in this level of your higher frequency selves on the higher plane. And so remember that when you do feel alone, how wonderful the company of the heavenly realms are with you and all around you. And I get confirmations on that almost every day. And the Cosmic Heart is our other oracle card. Devotion, potency, make your life a moving prayer. So it's always giving thanks, giving praises, even when there's a significant amount of challenge. It's almost like when you are faced with challenge, what is your inner conversation with the life around you? And to truly be in a prayerful modality, to, even in the most difficulty, give thanks and give praises, and to be in that generosity of spirit to yourself and to life, that you're so grateful. This is a very important quality to cultivate within your field. So this is what's being asked of in this full moon, and many may be feeling the beneficial, the beneficent energies of this full moon in Leo. It is a positioning, that 7 degrees Leo, of joy and of play and of celebration. This is shining like the sun. And the sun shining in opposition in Aquarius is to not make it about you, but about the whole, and to truly be in service of the upliftment of the whole through your individuation. So not to hold back. It's no longer benefiting you or the whole to hold back your light and to hold back your shine. We're being asked to shine our gifts in this world, and to keep that Leo Aquarian axis, that when we shine, we're uplifting the whole through that heart-centered intent to benefit all sentient life around us. And this card from Dreams for Society deck, you understand the dark is simply the light forgotten. So you can even see within the shadow work or the expression of shadow energies around you that you can see the essence of the light within everything. Everything is just veiled. The light essence is inside of every image you see in your external world. Even if it is a bunch of shadows, you can see the light essence, the soul of life inside of it, because you remember your light. And if we truly are in this, if it is all one, right? And when you are able to connect with the source light, even when faced with the shadows, the shadow energy, the forgotten energy in this realm, you're able to hold space for the true essence to emerge, to shine through, just by you maintaining kind of that, that lioness, that Leo compassion, that patience, the courage that it takes to be patient and to hold that loving space, to have the strength to keep moving forward and to keep progressing and walking through the thresholds and the initiations of a mystical life. This is a mystical journey. We're on a very truth-telling, truth-seeking path, and we don't necessarily disregard the shadow. We just see through it and into more of the core essence of what's trying to be communicated. So we have the Knight of Wands, the Four of Crystals, the King of Wands, and the Nine of Swords. And at the bottom we have a choice point. So with the Knight of Cups, there is movement, there is direction, there is compassion, there is intuitive action that you may not see the sequence or the formula, the structure out in front of you, exactly how things are going to unfold, but intuitively you know you're in the right direction, or you're being pulled, you're being led, you're being guided by signs, symbols, experiences with the natural world, or with the way, you know, people are communicating to you. You know, there's YouTube videos you see, or whatever is coming into your frame, conversations you're having, you're receiving signs, symbols, signals. There's going to be some sort of messenger on your path that's going to assist you in moving forward, progressing in this full moon energy. This is going to be one of the moons, the biggest moons of the year, to accelerate your path. And it's going to come in a very kind of maybe like obscure way, not so like, oh, this is what you need to do by this date and it's going to look like this and have this quality. No, this is like a visionary. And so somebody may be coming in offering some sort of teaching or training or tool that is going to assist your path forward. So just be observant and aware of that. It is a card, yeah, definitely a card of intuition, and just reinstates that kind of compassionate flow. Like everybody's on this journey of discovery, and we all have different vehicles that we utilize in that self-discovery process. So this just shows that there's another tool coming in to support your journey forward. We have the Four of Crystals, and that four is a very stable, grounded, reliable, dependable, steady, constructive number. And with the crystals, you know, we're talking about an earth element. So there might be a sense of like not wanting to change, of like holding on to the stability of your structure that's known in the form. And it could go either way. It could be like representing the, you know, the structure that does feel consciously constructed through your life experience process, and that, you know, your proof of its functionality is in the presence of your life. That Four of Crystals could also represent, depending, a bit of a stuckness in belief, in some sort of like programmed belief system structure. So it could be like a place to communicate from and to represent yourself through, and also something that can keep you limited, depending on how that energy is utilized. You don't ever want to be like an impenetrable like doctrine where, you know, it's not allowing for change. You know, this is the natural law is change and evolution. And this could indicate also, for some reason, like rigidity in the structure, like body movement. Make sure you're getting out and walking and breathing the prana, breathing the fresh air, and maybe getting on your yoga mat or having a spontaneous dance session to move maybe some of the energies that feel a bit stuck and lodged physically, from the psyche into the physical. And I say that because we have the Nine of Swords here, so it shows that there is some mental anxiety, and so that's why I kind of said that with that Four of Crystals. And then we have the King of Wands, which shows that there is a real readiness, a real energy to make change, to make shifts, to initiate the new projects, to use your life force energy to manifest what's in your passion principle, what your vision is, what your kind of entrepreneurial spirit about the world is. And I like this because it kind of fuses the Leo and Aquarius axis. It kind of brings that heat, that fire of the lion's heart, and into that entrepreneurial kind of zany, futuristic Aquarian visionary. And kind of merges those two energies, where it is very sees big picture and is very action oriented. So I like that this card kind of merges that axis into one. This is a very strong energy, a very prolific energy, a very the energy of the King of Wands brings forth inspiration and excitement and motivation to people around him. It's a masculine energy. We all hold that masculine within us, so it's not a him or a her. It's just kind of that masculine principle. Then we have the Nine of Swords, and we're going to clarify that because this shows that there are sleepless nights, that something is keeping you up at night. There's something kind of being processed and perhaps over-processed and worked through. And this 9 with this 4 is kind of why I said the psychological processing, creating rigidity in the body, and the need for that kind of amorphic, fluid movement. That 9 of Swords is asking for more meditation and just more self-love. The over heightened criticisms of the mental constructs can be very detrimental to the mental health and therefore the physical health. So if there's someone around you even that is, struggling, this separation and isolation that people are in, some people are alone and really struggling with that, we're social beings, and being in isolation from one another is not how the nature of the mammalian way is. We're very, humans are very community oriented, and there's a sense of isolation here, and I'm being brought up to the star family. You're never alone. You're always in this presence of the company of heaven, and you just must call on it, and it will diffuse and support that sense of aloneness that turns into loneliness and isolation. So if you're experiencing that, reach out to someone, to a group, get online, message me, we'll do a private reading, reach out to people to build your community, work that, lion warmth and energy and that Aquarian community, friendship kind of energy, and really awaken that in your life. And it is a personal choice. You have to choose that. So if you're kind of struggling mentally, and I know many are, it's a very delicate time, and a very extreme time. And I just want to say, follow your inner navigation. Follow your personal truth. And how do you do that? You've got to breathe and get into nature and meditate and tune in to your inner operating system and your higher self. Okay, so the Nine of Swords is clarified by the Page of Swords, which I really like. And she is taking command. She is reaching out. That Page of Swords is contacting someone for help, for assistance, for that conversation, to move some of that psychic energy through, some of that mental energy through. We have the perspective card that's coming out here. So you're being afforded an incredible opportunity for this like recapitulation of your life. There's something profound happening that is going to really, in a sense, the Tower card came out, free you. There is going to be kind of a personal liberation, but there's a process to it. And this Three of Crystals is kind of showing that there's a rearrangement of your physical environment, and that could be like in your immediate physical environment. This does show me that there is a like a cooperative energy. Like the three is it's kind of a coming together and working through a project in a cooperative style of leadership. And leadership doesn't mean like a whole huge team. It can just be a conversation with three people. It's a three. Or like if your family unit, or with your associates, or peer group, whatever that three looks like. So it does look like there is, changes in the air. There is this quality of just like intuitive movement. And it does show that there's a sense of like unease about that there's like a sense of like wanting to hold on, and that holding on could be creating like resistance and constriction in your physical body. But there's a strength and initiation, a strength in walking forward and walking through and like working that Aquarius Leo axis of connecting to the big picture and your big vision, and bringing that to life, through your actions. And there's going to be some fear around that, perhaps for some, that, the voice might tremble and you might be thinking about it a ton. But this Page of Swords that comes on top is just saying, take that step. Make that contact, take that next step forward on your path. Make that communication effort, call that old friend, or get that next level of information that is required for you to create movement and change in your life in a productive way. Because no matter what the change is coming, the tower is coming, there is going to be great change in your life again and again and again. It's like, do you actively choose it or passively choose it? And it either comes by choice or comes by consequence. So change is just the law of the universe, right? The only constant. So it's like we die 1,000 deaths before the great death, and it's a practice of letting go of our ego, letting go of the rigidity of our beliefs, of what we think we are and what we think is right. There is a surrender experience to this process of not everyone has all the answers, but with this 3, we're reminded there is a cooperative, this perspective card coming in, and then the tower, the change that comes. There is this cooperative effect that happens when, things do get a bit more chaotic. We are required to come together in community and cooperate and problem solve, create, stay in that heart, that high heart of the creative solutions. We can't solve the issues of this world from the same mentality that has created it. We must access that higher frame and go into more that soul level truth and really respond. Find your vehicle that is going to support you. This 3 of Crystals is also speaking to community. Find your soul group. Find your community that's really going to support your work that you are delving into right now. And let that be so beneficial and supportive for you that you feel you have new friendships, new community, loving, supporting, diving into the same content. Okay, shadow again. We've gotten this one before. So it's just you understand the dark is simply the light forgotten. So it's just understanding the dual nature of this realm, and we can't be light workers without being shadow walkers, without transmuting the shadow. We would be denying so much of this experience if we didn't go all the way in and pull ourselves all the way through. Life is a deep process. Life takes us into all the nooks and crannies, and some moments have more levity, and some moments are hold more of a heaviness, and we're all being aspected in different ways at different times. So, as always, we want to hold the utmost compassion for people on their journey and where they are, and really come into that virtuousness, of kindness, of love, of patience, of generosity, and of respect and sanctity on where you are and where the other is. And truly, there is no other. It's only you. And the you that is the one, the oneness, connected into that oneness. So let us amplify our virtuous behavior, our virtuous actions, whether those actions are thoughts, whether those actions are words, those actions are deeds. Let us embody patience and kindness above all, and speak to the heart of the matter. Speak to the heart of the lion, that lion's roar, and it can be powerful. It can be big. I mean, let it be big and be, true to yourself, and be willing to allow for others, be strong enough to allow others to communicate their truth and see the light even inside of the darkness. It's perceived darkness, it's just the light forgotten. So it's to practice all of this in the moment is mastery, and we're all being asked to evolve to another level. Okay? It's a requirement. The old world is falling away, and we are feeling that internally, and we see it out externally. And nature, the birds are still singing, and the deer are still, frolicking, and life continues. It's this human complexity and the human knot that has gotten very, we've created quite a world out of sync with natural law. And we're being called to come back into right relationship. And that right relationship is a locale inside of your heart. And if you're speaking in a way that is violent towards another being, you really want to self-examine the place that's coming from, and what part of the ego is being activated because it's scared. And of course there's a lot of fear, and collectively we're required to transcend this fear and come into the vibration of love, because that is what survives. That is completely what survives. So I could go on and on. I wish I could, but it's already 33 minutes. So I'll go ahead and release this to you now, and I wish you a wonderful full moon in Leo.